Now, if you see here that, like I've said in my introductory video, that research ethics are really important. And the first thing is, if you see here, is the responsible conduct. So look, when you are conducting a clinical research, so you should be a responsible member, and you should conduct that in a responsible and logical way. So that's the first thing. You have to maintain the integrity. So look, responsible conduct, what is responsible conduct? That look, whatever you are doing, for example, you are collecting the data, you are collecting the variables, you are doing the statistical analysis. So that all will be honest, without any forgery, without any, you can say, cheat. So what you are doing, what you are seeing, you are documenting the same thing the way it is. So that's the responsible conduct. The same goes with integrity, that when you are conducting a clinical research, so the burden lies on you. Like, we are working as a team, we are working on a project. So we are giving the results to the scientific community, we are giving the results to the world. So from our results, maybe a life is associated with those results. So that's why, if we are not showing integrity, we are not showing the responsible conduct, so what will happen, that the we are making the people suffer. So we have, whatever we are seeing, whatever we are calculating, we should be honest to the scientific community completely, without any sort of forgery, without any sort of duplication, without any sort of, you can say that, there should be no shadiness in our conduct. Risk minimization means that it simply includes those cohort studies and case control studies where humans are involved in randomized control trials and animal studies. So when you are injecting any drug, or you are doing any sort of treatment, so you should first of all think about no harm to the humanity. So for example, you know that a drug X causes a severe side effect of dizziness, or maybe that will cause high blood pressure, and you are just injecting a patient just in a hope to achieve a statistically significant results. So that's, you are doing unethical. So that's why the third thing is the risk minimization. So whenever you are conducting a clinical research, whether it is a systematic review, or whether it is um, real clinical studies like cohort studies or case control studies, randomized control trial, you have to avoid any sort of risk. Then the respect for persons. So yes, that's again important. For example, you are writing a case report, and you are just showing the picture of a person, or you're showing the identifying parts of the body. So you are doing a disrespect to that person. So similarly, whoever is your subject, you don't have to treat them as a subject, you have to treat them as a person, as a human, with emotions and with everything. So respect is the first thing we have to display, rather than treating them just like inanimate objects, or like just a subjects. You have to treat, in a clinical research, every person as a human being. And then there is the confidentiality. That's the most important thing, which I would like to highlight you today. That confidentiality of your results, of your patients, of your statistical analysis, of your manuscript, it's the most important thing. So for example, we are working as a group of 10, 11 people. We have to be crystal clear, and we have to be crystal clear in the terms of confidentiality. That look, whatever I'm teaching you here today, whatever we are working on, so we should be completely confident this all results will be between us. So we will disseminate this information only after the results are published online. So before doing that, it is an unethical principle, and it is not justifiable. So you have to be in your results, in your statistical analysis, and when you will do your clinical research in the future years, when you are just using humans as a subject, so you should be having that whatever information of the patient you are getting, you have to be confidential for that. And then informed consent is necessary in case reports, in cohort studies, case control, randomized control trials. So whenever you are performing anything on the patient, always and always let them know that what you are doing with them, what will you do with their results. Is the drug you are injecting, it is harmful or it is beneficial, or what the side effects are most expected. So risks and benefits should be told to the patient in a proper manner. So that's basics about the research ethics, and more you will learn in your future years in the medicine, that yes, when you will conduct big clinical studies. But for our systematic review, what ethics we will have to follow, we will have to follow the confidentiality, because like there is no RBA approval, there is no informed consent in the systematic review. You have to just go and just compile the results which are already published. So those case reports which are published, they have taken the informed consents as per stated in their case reports. So you don't have to worry about this thing. But the thing is that what our title is, what our results are, what our manuscript is, it should be confidential between all of us, and we should work hard together. And ultimately, by working hard and by compiling the results and by making a manuscript, until and unless we just get it published online, that should be between us, and it will be quite crucial um, for all of these things. So when we will go towards the publication stage, I will tell you what will be the ethics regarding publications. So for example, you can't at the same time submit into the two journals. That's completely wrong. You have to submit to one journal at a time and just see what their decision is all about. So most journal will give you a quick decisions regarding that, whether they are accepting or for peer review, or they are just rejecting your manuscript. So just wait for that time, rather than sometimes people just submit in two or three journals at a time. That is completely unethical. Then plagiarism is completely unethical. So the goal of this systematic review is to make the students understand that such things do exist, and we have to avoid those things right at the onset from our career, so that we should become a sound clinician as well as researchers. Okay, so now this another thing which I wanted to highlight to you guys is about the International Committee of Medical Journal ICJME criteria for authorship. So look, this criteria is really, really important. And like when I started clinical research in the systematic reviews, I was certainly not aware about uh, these principles. So it's always better that when you are conducting your first project or second project, maybe, so you should be clear about the ICGME criteria for the authorship, because in most journals, when we are will publish in Elsevier journal, most likely, for example, my target journal is human pathology. So like these all journals who are not predatory, who have a good reputation, who have a good name, and they will publish you freely on the subscription based model. So they just ask about the role of the authors in a publications. So for example, we are all 11, so we should justify our positions, that yes, who is first, who is second, who is third, fourth, fifth, but that should be according to the work we put in. It's not about anything else, because when we are going against the rules, so we are conducting a misconduct. So look, what's the criteria of the authorship? So to whom we have to give that role of authorship? So that is first of all, who do substantial contribution to the conception and design of the work, or the acquisition, analysis, or interpretation of the data for the work. So look, who should be a co-author among us all, who will give substantial contribution. By substantial contribution, what I mean that the work is equally divided among the all co-authors, like everyone will do some sort of the task regarding the conception and design of the work. So you have to understand this first thing, that look, this project is not only about me. Yes, I may be a mentor for you. I'm mentoring this project, but it doesn't mean that your input is not important. Your input is as important as mine. So feel free to object whatever you think is wrong, or whatever you think you want to add, because as much as it is mine project, you should consider it as your own as well. So if you think that, for example, I'm missing a variable, I'm missing a statistical analysis, I'm missing an important result, or I have overlooked one of the thing, I'm a human. I can't guarantee that I will be 100% right every time. So feel free, because you are a co-author, you have equal responsibility in this manuscript as mine. So that's why you should have a substantial contribution to the conception or design of the work. Maybe you might not like the title. Maybe you might want to add anything else. So that's the starting point. And then what are the criteria? Acquisition, that you will perform the collection of the data. You will have a role in analysis or interpretation of the data for the work. So either get involved in the data collection, either get involved in the data analysis, or even get involved in the interpretation of the data. So these are three big deals. So when you are doing a systematic review or any type of research, first of all, you acquisite the data or you collect the data, then you do the data analysis, and then you do the data interpretation. So these are three different domains. So you should be involved in one of these domains in some role to qualify as a co-author. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that, so look, you got my point, that like it's not like that you are only understanding the systematic review and then just become a backbencher in the publication, and just you say, okay, keep my name at the last. I'm only here for learning the systematic. No, you have to get actively involved in these three roles, either acquisition, analysis, or interpretation of the data, to qualify as a co-author. Like this is the ICJME criteria for the authorship. So that what I want, that every one of you who is working with me, they should have like at least, like for example, there are 65 case reports. So at least you should try to collect the data from the 5 case reports and just say to me that yes, doctor, this is what my collection is, and maybe if you add this variable as well, so that will sounds good. So yes, if you have done that, you have complete your role as a co-author, and then you will be qualified as a co-author. Then the drafting the work or revising it critically for the important intellectual content. So look, either you have to perform these three roles regarding the data, or then you have to draft the work. By drafting, what I mean, that when we will do the data analysis, we will do calculate the confidence interval, p values, we will make tables, then we will write the manuscript. So writing the manuscript also takes a good amount of time. It's also really hard work. So drafting the data or revising it critically for important intellectual content. This also includes your ICJME criteria for the authorship. So if you are revising it, for example, those of you who aren't interested in collecting the data, feel free to say me that yes, we are not interested in data interpretation, analysis, or anything. Just when you will write a manuscript, just involve us in some role. So one of you who thinks that they have sound critical analysis, come forward and we will give you a task of critically analyzing the manuscript and just trying to make it better. Maybe you might do the language edits, you might do the scientific edits. So those are very important for, because every step is crucial for getting the research published. Then the final approval of the version to be published. So when I will make the final draft, so it is the responsibility of mine as a mentor or as a first author who is conducting all this research publication. So it will be my job to make this final approval. But in that final approval, all of you should be present, and you should see that what is the final draft is, because without approval of yours, so it's unethical that I just directly publish into the journal. So in that way, our process will be transparent. In that way, our process will be sound, ethical, scientific, and everything will be like that. And then there is the fourth one, the agreement to be accountable for all aspects of the work and ensuring that questions related to accuracy or integrity of any part of the work are appropriately investigated and resolved. So look, whatever I am doing or what we are all doing, So we should be very crystal clear towards each other, like at every step I should get you involved, at every step you should get me involved. So in that way, we will follow the ICJME criteria for the authorship, and ultimately our end product will be an ethical published manuscript. So that's it for about the ethics and ICJME criteria. So now in the next video we will discuss about introduction to the systematic review.